Well, I wait all year to say this, but fall is here. Kids are back in school, vacations are over, and it's officially the start of cozy season. And for me, it's officially the start of touring season, which means it's time to slide on some Bombas. You know Bombas. You see me wearing Bombas on stage over my leggings. They are the most comfortable socks, slippers, tees, and underwear out there. They're made from premium materials that actually make sense for this time of year. You want to get cozy, but still be in something breathable, but have your feet feel held. Nothing feels better on an airplane than a pair of Bombas. Think merino wool that keeps you warm when it's chilly, but cool when it's hot. Supima cotton that's softer, stronger, and more breathable than regular cotton, and even rag wool. The thick, durable, classic cozy sock you're going to want all fall. Apple picking, drinking apple cider, even if it's kind of still hot outside and you're going pumpkin shopping in LA, still, we want the look. And it's not just socks. Bombas designed slippers that make it hard to leave the house, which is what you want. Another reason to stay home. And with their happiness guarantee, if you're not 100% into what you've got, they will make it right. No risk, all reward. Head over to bombas.com/Iliza and use code Iliza for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/Iliza. Code Iliza at checkout.
We're all really busy and we all want to lead really fun lifestyles because we all look at Instagram, right? You want to jet set around, you want to have fun brunch with your friends, you want to go to cool parties, have a full social calendar. Well, these things require energy. And the truth is you don't always have time to sit down and take a bunch of supplements and have a full meal. So that's why you're going to love Kachava. It is a tasty, nutritional shake with 85 plus superfoods, nutrients, and plant-based ingredients, 25 grams of plant-based protein to be exact, antioxidants, adaptogens. Kachava has got everything that you want in one tasty shake. They have chocolate, vanilla, chai, matcha, or coconut acai. You can have it iced, you can have it blended, you could put a fun little straw in there. Kachava has no artificial flavors, colors, or sweeteners. It's non-GMO, no soy, no animal products, no gluten, and no preservatives. And you can have it on the go. So you are redefining fast food because Kachava contains nutrients to support your strength, energy, digestion, metabolism, cognition, immunity. So this is great whether you're traveling, at work, or just being a social butterfly. And it blends well into a smooth, creamy shake, whether you use a shaker bottle or a blender. It is a comprehensive all-in-one meal. Think protein shake, meal replacement, greens and veggies, essential vitamins and minerals, and so much more. And it is tasto. Go to kachava.com and use code Iliza for 15% off your next order. That's Kachava, KACHAVA.com, code Iliza for 15% off.
Lemonada.
Ask me, ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them, we'll read them, then we'll give you answers. You know it, I've got it. I've got the answer, the answer. You ask me, I'll tell you anything.
So I shot a commercial. Not going to say for who, but it's for a car.
Oh.
It was a very cool campaign. And I was in like full hair and makeup. We had like a glamorous part to it. And I raced out at 8:00 in Chicago to make the 9:30 flight. And so I took the flight. Yeah, I took the flight in full hair and makeup, which I never do. I never wear makeup when I travel. I felt so beautiful. And a TSA guy winked at me. So that was cool.
Oh.
And this morning, with this hair and this shirt, I was going to make a joke about looking like a hostage, but given the recent situation, the word hostage is like too charged, and that's not what I meant. I look like I've been kidnapped. And I think the hair could pass for beachy LA. So if hold on, watch.
Oh.
Because the shirt is like a porridge gray.
Yeah.
Doesn't this change it?
Yeah, with this shirt, you're right. I wouldn't have thought of it, but it is like, when a beautiful blonde woman gets kidnapped and then crawls out of a crawl space somewhere.
Which is every show.
Yeah.
But now I like woke up with this hair, even though it's kind of matted from all the back combing. It's like that thing where you're like, maybe my makeup and hair will keep if I just go to sleep. And it's like, the answer is no.
Yeah.
But I have to tell you, hold on, I'll save it for my top of the cob.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, so my hair person, his name was Igor.
Yeah.
He was Russian. he told me the word for glamorous woman in Russian is glamornaya. Glamornaya.
Oh.
And he was like, you speak Russian with no accent. And I was like, spasiba. And then I was like, Naya. And I was like, so does the suffix of Naya, he's like, it means a woman. Like glamornaya is beautiful girl. I don't know what beautiful boy is, glamorous boy. And I was like, so is Stolichnaya a girl? He's like, it's a girl from Stolich. Like, so Naya means woman. And I thought that was interesting. And I was like, do I go learn Russian now that I've got the basics?
You've got all the basics. You know, woman?
Glamorous woman is me, glamornaya. Is me.
Now you're set.
Could be a handy language to learn coming up.
Yeah, they go to space. They're good for them.
How do you feel about us getting all the hostages back?
Good. I mean, it's never bad to get hostages back.
It's so good. And I just got home. I have 1 day home and now I'm leaving for Texas. So we're on tour. We're doing it.
Well, let's talk Texas because this is one of our timeliest recordings. And you got an important question from a Patreon subscriber, paid member of the Patreon.
Subscribe Naya.
Saying, planning my weekend and I'm searching for cute coffee shops in downtown Dallas. If Iliza or anyone else has any recommendations. And one person gave the recommendation, Merit Coffee. Was that on your list?
No, because I never go home.
Oh, right.
And I certainly do not go to downtown Dallas. It is not near anything that I know. I will find it and look right now. So I didn't answer that. I did see that. Merit Coffee. Are we seeing it in the downtown DFW area? Let's look. I see it. The closest thing I have for a coffee recommendation, I don't know when I made this review, is Sun's Coffee. And that is very far west. I must have been coming up from Austin. There's a bunch of Merit coffees.
Oh.
I'm looking at the one downtown. Let's see here. Looks cute. Would I go to it? Maybe. It's got a big garage door. We always like that. I'll have to do my research. My dad said that there's a place called Kimsey's, but I think that that's like very far north. This is a massive city, folks. So
yeah.
But I did shout out to Terry, Tary. It is a Kazakh coffee shop bakery in Chicago. And I'd never even thought of that culture. You go in, everybody is Central Asian looking.
Mm-hmm.
They're all from Kazakhstan. And they had this thing called irimshik, which is like a brown cottage cheese. And they put in a lot of stuff and lots of like sweet yogurts. It was cool.
That's
you can get
fun.
a latte anywhere. It was fun. Should have made a video. I forgot. I'll be honest.
So you don't have any spots that you know you're visiting in Dallas yet?
No, folks. I hope you're coming out to the Dallas show. Hope you're coming out to the Austin show. I am taking Sierra. We're flying to Austin. Going to hang out with Michelle and Grace, do the show, drive to Dallas, meet somewhere in the Metroplex, get picked up by my parents and go to their new house, which is out in the middle, not of nowhere, but it's out there. Do these two shows, spend a little QT.
Yeah.
That's what parents are supposed to do with their kids. Make sure they spend that QT.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be nice. Okay. And you leave when they hear this, you're in Texas.
I leave the second we finish recording this podcast. Okay. I gotta get to Burbank.
All right, let's get into it. And we actually have a kind of PSA from one of our listeners. And, I think it's nice. I think it's nice to hear from not us,
I would love to hear it.
Y'all, with all the love in the world, some of you need to hear this, especially after listening to the most recent episode. You are too old and educated to be saying stupid shit like, I'm a people pleaser. Who is benefiting from that? The people you're starting to have weird grudges against and know nothing about you? You, the people in your life who have to listen to you complain about it? You're not pleasing anyone. And on your deathbed, you'll never think, I am so glad I never stood up for myself because none of the people who haven't thought about me in 40 years were mildly inconvenienced by me saying what I thought. Your family and friends don't appreciate it. Men don't find it attractive. It's not beneficial in the workplace. Have a fucking opinion and stop apologizing for existing.
The people pleaser thing is like a thread. It is an archetype and it is something that we hear a lot. I don't know. I think that's something people's mothers teach them, like don't rock the boat. It feels good to make people feel good, but eventually it becomes like, does it feel good at the expense of you feeling good? And that's what we always try to talk about here. Who is the person that said that?
That is someone named Kitty in the Patreon.
We make Kitty a co-host. Kitty Corner.
Yeah.
Do it.
Look, I think it's one thing to hear something from us over and over again, especially because you are the opposite of that archetype. Like, I think that's why people come to you with their people-pleasing questions. But I think hearing from another person sometimes is just, listen to Kitty, if not Iliza.
You can take what you need from everyone because not everybody, like the way I live is not always good for me, and part of being on this planet is learning and growing. And I think as women, we so badly, or just as humans, want to find someone to be like, I love everything that they do. Like, I want to look to them. I think it's very human to want to look to someone who can unlock everything for you. And speaking of that, I have been going through something. And a friend of mine was like, you need to read All Fours, a book by Miranda July. And I was like, in such a weird, vulnerable place, I was like, okay.
You actually did it?
I've never read a book that someone told me to read other than my mom. And it's like historical fiction. Because she reads a lot. And so, but I was in such a weird place and we were having such a vulnerable conversation. So I was like, I'll do it at the airport. So it's 6:30. I went to a Hudson News. I bought a copy and I devoured it in like 72 hours.
Yeah.
And it actually is so fun to be like, I have to go back to my book, like reading, like sneaking pages of it.
Yeah.
So now, and whatever book you pick up next will not feel as good as that because that doesn't have all the people and characters. But the first 75% of that book, I was like, this woman is my religion. Like she gets it. I'm on the plane. I'm crying. I'm highlighting. I'm underlining. And then about 75% of the way through, I was like, oh, we are nothing alike. I kind of don't like her. I hate this so much. So my point is, just when you think you found something that's going to be your answer to everything, it turns out she was making a really big deal about having sex with women the whole time, and she could have just been doing that from the start. Okay. But it is, especially if you are in your 40s, All Fours sounds like it's like some kind of like S&M book or something. It's not. Because I was like, oh, I guess my friend and I can have the same experience. Highly recommend.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So take what you need from where you find it.
It's a bastardization of the Teddy Roosevelt quote, do what you can with what you have where you are. Take what you need, where you find it. Set it down. That's why people who are annoying study all religions. Like take whatever makes you feel best.
Yeah. All right. Let's do a question.
I think so.
Hi, Liza and
Why
Emily.
not?
And furry friends, including Scott.
Oh, hey there.
I'll get right to it. My dad and stepmom have been together for 25 years. He has had 2 strokes in the past 18 months and is now in declining health, and she wants to leave him and not be responsible for him anymore.
Ooh.
God, after 25 years. They live in Florida and I live in Minnesota. He has no other family close by as they move there full time for the weather. I see him about 3 times a year, but we are very close, talking on the phone almost every day. They are not technically married. I've just always considered her a stepmom. They got together when I was 14. My dad is sad. His feelings are hurt, and I think he's scared for what the future holds for him, living by himself at 77 years old. He's lived in Florida for about 11 years, enjoys the weather and his golf community and friends, and doesn't want to leave. He has started having panic attacks since his second stroke, which is also around the same time she decided she wanted to move to St. Louis to be closer to her family and away from him.
It's a great city.
I am super worried about him living by himself. He has a lot of close friends and neighbors, but it's not the same. What do I do? Is it worth calling her and having a conversation? Plan on visiting him more often? I have a full-time job and 2 young kids. Convince him to move to Minnesota? Help. No reason to be anonymous. Thanks, Whitney.
Gosh, Whitney, that's so hard. That's so hard on so many levels. You cannot convince this woman to spend the last few okay years of her life.
No.
It's so shitty on her part, but also you don't know what that marriage has been like, what
Not
that
even
relationship.
marriage. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, some states would disagree.
She's off the table. You're not going to
Don't
reach
worry
out
about
to her and convince him. What are you going to do with your dad?
Here's what you got to do first. First, you got to go there. You
Yeah.
got to assess the situation. Does he live in squalor? Is his house okay? Does he have money? Is he able to move into a community where there is care? What is his financial situation? Okay. What is her financial situation? I know she's leaving him, but let's make sure everything is in your name. Let's make sure that if and when he dies, she doesn't come back claiming stuff. And I know about this secondhand because I have a family member going through this where the brother was in declining health. This girlfriend came out of nowhere. Granted, she took care of him for a long time. They were together for a long time, but he dies. They're not married. Somehow everything was in her name. Like, you just never know what people are capable of. So go visit. You cannot assess it from afar.
Right.
And I think it would mean the world to him if you went. I appreciate that you have 2 kids. So either bring them, bring your husband or your wife. That's what you have to do first. Financially assess, because money solves everything. If you had $1 billion, you could put him into a care facility, some sort of half care facility, get him a personal nurse. He doesn't want to be alone. Is there a way to help with that? If you can't, then you assess it then. You get to Florida, boots on the ground. That's my advice to you.
Because if he has, yes, you go there and you assess. Because in my mind, there are kind of 2 ways this goes. Either you find him assisted living in Florida where he does have someone with him for help, but he still is nearby his friends and can and isn't leaving his community. Or you see if he had assisted living in Minnesota, would you visit him more? Or would you still be like, oh, we have kids? Like, figure out what's best for you and him.
But moving him closer, unless it's something he wanted. First of all, cold winter. That is a brutal winter.
Right.
He's going to be unhappy. Then he has no friends and he will be a burden to you because he's not self-sufficient.
I think ideally he stays in Florida, but
you got to assess. So that's our advice. I think on this podcast, we give advice like super far out. Do that and get those finances situated.
Forget, you're not calling out women and saying, please stay with my dad. No one wants that. He doesn't want that.
Well, and by the way, like, she might be cool and he was awful to live with. Like, you don't know. And I also, it's not about not being married or not, but I understand you have X amount of years left on this planet. And if she doesn't feel like that for him, what's the actual obligation a human has to another?
Yeah.
To be sick with you, So I'm not labeling it. I'm just saying she's off the table, like Emily said.
Yeah.
She said it first.
I know you did.
I thought it.
We're all really busy and we all want to lead really fun lifestyles because we all look at Instagram, right? You want to jet set around. You want to have fun brunch with your friends. You want to go to cool parties, have a full social calendar. Well, these things require energy. And the truth is you don't always have time to sit down and take a bunch of supplements and have a full meal. So that's why you're going to love Kachava. It is a tasty, nutritional shake with 85 plus superfoods, nutrients, and plant-based ingredients, 25 grams of plant-based protein to be exact, antioxidants, adaptogens. Kachava has got everything that you want in one tasty shake. They have chocolate, vanilla, chai, matcha, or coconut acai. You can have it iced, you can have it blended, you could put a fun little straw in there. Kachava has no artificial flavors, colors, or sweeteners. It's non-GMO, no soy, no animal products, no gluten, and no preservatives. And you can have it on the go. So you are redefining fast food because Kachava contains nutrients to support your strength, energy, digestion, metabolism, cognition, immunity. So this is great whether you're traveling, at work, or just being a social butterfly. And it blends well into a smooth, creamy shake, whether you use a shaker bottle or a blender. It is a comprehensive all-in-one meal. Think protein shake, meal replacement, greens and veggies, essential vitamins and minerals, and so much more. And it is tasto. Go to Kachava.com and use code Iliza for 15% off your next order. That's Kachava, Kachava.com, code Iliza for 15% off.
The amount of times I've gone out just wanting to dance and hear some great music from like the 90s, and instead I end up with like bad wedding music. Sometimes adults just want to go out and be around adults their own age and not be stuck in a line with a bunch of 22-year-olds and hear some good music. Well, this is your chance. The 90s bands you love that got you through braces, bad boyfriends, and questionable low-rise jeans are back with the 90s Cruise. Head to 90scruise.com for more info, but it's sailing January 25th through the 30th on board the Celebrity Constellation, departing from Tampa with stops in Nassau and Key West. It's an epic 90s lineup with concerts from some of the biggest artists of that decade, including TLC, Sugar Ray, oh my God, my heart, Better Than Ezra, En Vogue, Are You Kidding Me? And more. Your friends will be so jealous while they're at home defrosting chicken and folding laundry. You'll be screaming every word to your favorite 90s hits, reliving high school, feeling incredible, all on a cruise ship. No kids, no bosses, no responsibilities, just you, a drink in hand, and a dance floor with your name on it, reliving at least the time in your life where you had the most energy. Sailing January 25th through the 30th. 2026 from Tampa to Nassau and Key West on Celebrity Constellation. You want life advice? Here it is. Go to the90scruise.com/Iliza. Grab your cabin and use code Iliza for $250 off new reservations. Once it's sold out, it's just you, your couch, and a sad playlist. And I know, because that's usually me. Your friends are going to be so jealous, so grab them, round up your buddies, and get on that cruise. When I was a teenager, I had a checkbook. And I balanced the checkbook, and I had a little debit card and put $20 in, take $20 out, and I learned about money. And the truth is, the world of finances is a lot bigger than that, but it's never too early to start your kids on good money habits. You want your kids to save their money and know the value of a dollar? Well, Acorns Early makes it easy to teach kids healthy money habits that will stick with them for life. Acorns Early makes it easy with their smart debit card and money app that grows kids' money skills as they grow up. Then your kids get to set their own savings goals and start building healthy money habits early. They get a personalized debit card. They can spend what they earn. They can keep what they earn, and it gives them a sense of independence. Plus, with Acorns Early spending limits and real-time spend notifications, parents always stay in control because let's be honest, I can't have my kid just buying only Bluey stickers. It's enough. If you're ready to teach your kids the smart way to earn, save, and spend, get your first month on us when you head to acornsearly.com/Iliza or download the Acorns Early app. That's 1 month free when you sign up at acornsearly.com/Iliza. Acorns Early Card is issued by Community Federal Savings Bank, member FDIC, pursuant to license by MasterCard International. Free trial for new subscribers only. Subscription fee starting from $5 per month unless canceled. Terms apply at http://acornsearly/early terms.
Okay.
Look how good this hair looks.
It looks good.
This is the hair you want when this is what you want your curly hair to do.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
No. So I was just in the ocean. Sometimes I just go in the ocean.
You need the
I just have to feel the salt water.
The outfit that they wear, the wetsuit where there's sleeves, but no pants. Do you know what I mean? Where it's like a wetsuit where it's like a bikini cut at the bottom.
I love it.
But sleeves
like a surfer.
Yeah, it's like why your full legs out, but your arms aren't. Get those arms out.
Well, I think that could just be a little hot. I think it's a little cumbersome, and then your legs are in the water, your arms aren't.
Burned.
Quit talking over me. I'm going to fire you. Nobody wants to hear us talking over each other. Saying your legs are in the water, you don't want to burn your upper body, and that's softer skin. I listen back to the podcast. I'm like, this is like baseball talk radio. We're just going over each other.
Hi, Iliza and Emily.
Sorry. I love you so much.
I have been debating the answer to this question for months when it occurred to me that you two would be the perfect people to answer.
Duh. What do you mean it occurred to you?
Of course.
This podcast should be your religion.
Oh boy. No, don't do that.
It's a heretic, by the way.
Oh, what do you think?
Hugh Grant is so charming that even though he's a bad guy, the whole time I kept being like, well, maybe he's going to be nice
I
now.
know. And even though he's very smarmy, yeah, I know. There's just something about him I want to root for.
That's being a man.
2 weeks notice. He's just like, oh, I don't know if I can keep you employed, Sandra Bullock.
Such a good movie. Okay. Sorry, start over.
I've been debating the answer to this question for months. You two would be perfect to answer. Background. I quit my job as a hairstylist 3 years ago when my second child was born to be a stay-at-home mom. I also started attending college for the first time to work towards my associate's degree in hopes to apply to ultrasound school when my kids were a bit older. At the time, my husband made really good money. I had a 4.0, the kids were thriving, everything was great. We were in zero rush for me to go back to work. That all changed in an instant.
Oh, no.
My husband developed a serious drug addiction behind my back, stopped working, lost his job, and withdrew and spent his entire 401k. He eventually ended up going to out-of-state rehab, went back to work for his company in a much lower paying position. I'm talking 1/5 of what he used to make. Now, 6 months out from this mess, we are struggling to stay afloat financially. I don't have my hair license anymore, so that's out of the question. And my resume of working the same salon job for 8 years doesn't look great to other types of employers. I need a decent
What do
job.
you mean that's out of the question? Just reapply for a license.
I don't know how that works.
You probably just have to pay and take a hair exam. I think out of the question is a little harsh.
Well, okay.
Okay.
Now hold on. Once a year, I work a cocktail waitressing job at a country club, men's only boxing event. It requires me to dress way out of my comfort zone in a bodysuit and knee-high boots and hang out with and serve drinks to a group of wealthy men in their section of the event to make upwards of $700 in 3 hours. Anyway, last year I met 2 men in my section who were so kind to me. They pulled me aside and told me they can tell I don't belong there and notice my professionalism. Knowing nothing about me, one of them said, "Whatever you do, never let a man control your financial destiny. Always make sure you have your own too." Which was weird because I had no idea my husband was in rehab and had just nearly ruined our lives. We chatted most of the night, and they treated me much more respectfully than the typical clientele at this event. At the end, they gave me their names and told me if I ever needed work, they can help me. They seemed very genuine. One is an orthopedic surgeon. The other owns a commercial real estate company. 9 months later, I can't shake the idea of reaching out because it felt like such a sign. All I have is one's first and last name written in my notes. Facebook is the only way I can think to directly contact him. My question is, do I take a shot and reach out to him as professionally as possible or chalk it up to drunk guys only being kind in the moment because I was half naked serving them endless vodka sodas? Keep my name anonymous, please. Love you all so much.
Wait, reach out to them about what? Working in an orthopedic surgeon's office?
Or in a real estate office.
Unless you're the receptionist, you're going to need some kind of degree for that. And unless you have a passion for real estate, I guess either way, you're applying to be a receptionist.
Yes.
So I think what you have to think about first is, what am I willing to do? Is that what you're offering? Can you do bookkeeping? It sounds to me like what you don't have is a skill set you can apply. If you're telling me you're working a cocktail waitress job once a year, and you're telling me that going back to hair is off the table, I think the next thing you have to decide is, what am I willing to do? You're going to have to be in pain a little bit longer while you get this either relicense for your hair, or what was the other thing at the beginning?
She's getting a degree, associate.
That's right, your associates. What happened to that?
To apply to ultrasound school. I think it requires more schooling, and right now she can't do more schooling. She needs to make money.
Well, I hear that. So it sounds like you're going to have to, first of all, definitely leave that husband. It's not that he can't be an addict and get back on track, but maybe it's not leave him, but you need to take control as if he's not going to help you.
Right.
You have the 1/5. That's great. Perhaps he can leave that job and be a full stay-at-home dad while you go to school and have a job. But what I'm not hearing from you is, here's how I'd like to make money. Part of me is wondering, are you reaching out to these men hoping they'll just give you some money? What are you reaching out? Because you're going to seem unprofessional if you reach out without a plan. What I would do if I were you, if you really wanted to get this cash, what I would do if I were you is I would take their names. I don't know why you're saying Facebook's the only way to reach out. You can find them. If he's an orthopedic surgeon, he's going to have a name, a website, an office, all of that stuff. And the other guy, if he's a real estate,
his email will be online.
Very easy to get a hold. So that worries me that you don't understand that.
I have a concern, which is that they said, "Oh, here's our info. We'd love to," and that they just want to hire you for off the book, sexy waitressing.
Yeah, you don't know what they meant. I didn't hear the conversation, but that's why I'm saying, if you call and you look at their website, maybe even swing by to be like, you guys were so kind. Granted, it could have been a drunken whatever, but if you are looking for a receptionist, if you are looking for an office manager,
right. I ran my own business. I booked my own clients. I'm very people friendly. That works great for a realty office.
Give them all the reasons that you would fit perfectly into that specific environment.
Yeah.
Do not give them a reason to say no right off the bat. Because you want to get him thinking like,
but
our
these
office
are not,
manager just left.
It's been too long. These are not your salvation unless you're doing the waitressing gig again this year and you happen upon them. But I would also reach out who booked you for this waitressing gig, because maybe they have other one-off events. You could work booths. You could work like Red Bull. You could, where you hand samples out, or this kind of hospitality
Here's what it is.
Yeah.
You're floating right now. You are in a little bit of shock.
Yeah.
And so what you need to hear from us is here's how you put one foot in front of the other. It's time to go to work.
Right.
And the husband part we can deal with later. At least he's still back working. And I hope that he never falls back into his addiction or whatever. But you got to kick it into high gear. And it is funny to be like, never let a man control your finances. And it's like, can I have that $6 you just shoved into my sweaty boot?
Yeah, two drunk guys.
What do you want to do? What's your next step? How are you going to fucking bite the bullet and get to that?
But they're right. You should, like, you want to make your own money. Like, you can't rely on this guy. Even if he rebuilds your trust, you want to have your own money. So this is tough.
Maybe it's getting that hair. I don't, how hard could it be to get that hair license back? And whatever it would cost, it will pay for itself.
Right. If you still have those clients. I mean,
I think it's hard when you're out of work, out of the workforce, to get back into it. And you know what? Nobody cares about an 8-year. I took time off to raise my children. That is a totally valid. It's not like you took time off to go to out-of-state rehab.
Yeah.
And now can I handle your money? I took time off to raise my children. Here's an examples of how I've cut hair before. I can do it again.
Yeah.
Like no one's going to be like, no, a mother. I don't know if you can.
Yeah. Well. All right. We have another email titled Love or Decent Life. Hi, Iliza, Emily, and the crew. I've been a listener for a long time, and I finally have a question for you. Here it goes. You can call me Anna.
Finally, a name. You guys got to give us fake names.
It's not her name, but yeah.
I know. I said a fake name. Nobody wants to hear anonymous. So the name's got to be I sound so angry. The name's got to be at the beginning so that we can visualize someone named Anna.
I am a 36-year-old scientist working in the U.S., and I am at a huge crossroads.
Good luck.
My visa is expiring soon, and with the current political climate, it's becoming harder to see a stable future here. Honestly, the hostility toward immigrants makes me question whether I even want to stay. Here's the catch. I have an amazing American boyfriend who I live with and truly believe is my soulmate. The thought of asking him to uproot his whole life feels unfair, but I may not have another choice. Do I fight to stay in a country that feels increasingly unwelcoming, or do I leave and risk our relationship? Thank you so much for making me laugh during my often extremely boring experience. Now, I will say this, Iliza, based on this person's name, if I had to guess, they are white. So that doesn't...
Give me the name. Just give me the name.
Okay, let's say that they're probably white.
They're probably white and they're probably Eastern European. We'll leave it at that.
So in terms of hatred against immigrants, yes, it's real, but we might be in a slightly different position than
yes, unless your name was Gloria Sanchez.
Right.
Which is Will Ferrell's production company. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so love or life? Does she ask her boyfriend to uproot? Does she move back? Does she try to stay here on another visa? She's a scientist?
Okay, here's the thing. Like a lot of our listeners, you are planning for something that hasn't happened yet. I think you need to take this one step at a time, okay? I don't see, and I could be ignorant to this, I don't see a lot of, we'll call you Eastern European scientists getting kicked out by ICE. I understand you're blanketing the hostility toward immigrants. I think when you get granular with it, I think the average person does not feel that way. And I think the average person especially welcomes people that work in your field. I wouldn't sensationalize it. And I wouldn't plan for this yet. Are you able to obtain another visa and continue your work? Are you able to keep doing this? Is that even in the realm of possibility? Do you want to?
Yeah, do you want to be here?
Or have you had, am I wrong? And you've had so many horrible experiences that it has marred your time here as a scientist. Like, what do you want?
/ is the only thing you're like, I miss and love my home country, but my boyfriend lives here and I don't want to ask him to move. Like, is that all that's keeping you in America as your boyfriend?
Yeah. I mean, you're here for...
I think you have a conversation with him.
But I also think like you're here for the opportunity that you could not get in your home country. And it sounds like you still have that opportunity. Nothing. And by the way, think of all the things that made you leave your home country.
Yeah.
Nothing is ever going to be ideal. I'm an American-born citizen and Jewish, and I still feel uncomfortable here, but where are you going to go? You know? So I think you're biting off a little bit more than you can chew. Think about your plan. What do you want to accomplish? Can you do it there? Would you move home if you could do it there? You probably can't do your science there. I just think you need to really look at these variables. you know?
Hmm.
But if it came down to it and it was like, you have to choose, I would pick the job if you could still do your job. And I know because he'll either follow you or he's not the guy for you.
Yeah.
Think of all the women.
There should be a conversation in general because what happens in 10 years? Yeah, like, were you always planning on staying in America for the rest of your life?
Yeah, what were you planning? And also, like, you're just factoring in you're thinking about so many versions of the future, talking to us before you've talked to him. I always cringe at the girls that are like, there's actually a very big Instagram story where a girl like is in love with a guy and it's like about like we leave our places, we move to Texas, we sell everything, and then he breaks up with her. And I'm like, yeah, as a girlfriend, moving anywhere for a boyfriend, to me, it's such a risky move. And it always gives me the ick. Like, my boyfriend, that's not your husband. You guys don't have kids together.
My parents got married because my dad was coming down to Georgia to work at the Yerkes Primate Institute from Boston. My mom's like, okay, well, we're going to get married if we're going to move down to Georgia. So they got married.
Women put way too much. This is not about like not trusting men, but like things happen.
Yeah.
People grow apart. You get the ick. All these women, like, and this is not what you're doing, but just in general, like move around for my boyfriend. It's not a real status. It's not on paper. It's not legally binding. It's just feelings you have towards someone and maybe it'll grow into something. It's not that it shouldn't be respected, but women uprooting their lives, usually because they have no direction. They're like, I'll just go with him.
Yeah.
And when he's ready, he'll marry me.
Mm-hmm.
No, none of that.
Make the choice for you. And if you like your boyfriend more than your job, all right, fine.
I think you're a little unclear on what it is that you want, and we can't help you with that. So I think me speaking sternly will feel very familiar to you given where you're from. You need to get centered, as my mom would say. What is it that you want, Anna?
Yeah.
Well, I wait all year to say this, but fall is here. Kids are back in school. Vacations are over. And it's officially the start of cozy season. And for me, it's officially the start of touring season, which means it's time to slide on some Bombas. You know Bombas. You've seen me wearing Bombas on stage over my leggings. They are the most comfortable socks, slippers, tees, and underwear out there. They're made from premium materials that actually make sense for this time of year. You want to get cozy, but still be in something breathable, but have your feet feel held. Nothing feels better on an airplane than a pair of Bombas. Think merino wool that keeps you warm when it's chilly, but cool when it's hot. Supima cotton that's softer, stronger, and more breathable than regular cotton, and even rag wool. The thick, durable, classic cozy sock you're going to want all fall. Apple picking, drinking apple cider, even if it's kind of still hot outside and you're going pumpkin shopping in LA, still, we want the look. And it's not just socks. Bombas design slippers that make it hard to leave the house, which is what you want. Another reason to stay home. And with their happiness guarantee, if you're not 100% into what you've got, they will make it right. No risk, all reward. Head over to bombas.com/Iliza and use code Iliza for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/Iliza. Code Iliza at checkout. This is an advertisement from BetterHelp.
You need someone to talk to. As fun as our podcast is, I am surprisingly not a licensed mental health care professional. And with everything going on, you're not meant to process all of this. I know that I feel the weight of the world often. Like laying in bed, tears in my eyes, don't think that I can bear the weight of it all. And then I realize I'm not meant to. And if I just talk with someone, I always feel better. And you guys should know that October 10th is World Mental Health Day. And this year, BetterHelp is shining the spotlight on therapists, people who truly make the world a better place. When I was struggling, when I felt low, or when I felt like I just can't synthesize all of the garbage happening, I talked to my therapist. The right therapist can change everything. And BetterHelp has 12 plus years of experience in matching people to the right therapist. Whatever you're going through, there is someone out there who truly understands you. Please don't think you're alone. And please don't think that the problem that you are going through and the burden you are carrying is solely yours. A short questionnaire helps identify your needs and preferences, and they can pair you with a therapist who gets you, and you're off to the races. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform. No more waiting in rooms. Well, no more waiting in a room across town. No more traffic. No more schlepping from office to office. You can do this from the comfort of your own home. This World Mental Health Day, we're celebrating the therapists who've helped millions of people take a step forward. If you're ready to find the right therapist for you, BetterHelp can help you start that journey. We've arranged a special offer. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Eliza. That's betterhelp.com/Eliza.
Well, hi, everybody. It's Julia Louis-Dreyfus from the Wiser Than Me podcast. And I'm not going to talk about food waste this time. I'm going to talk about food resources. All that uneaten food rotting in the landfill, it could be enriching our soil or feeding our chickens because it's still food. And the easiest and frankly, way coolest way to put all its nutrients to work is with the Mill Food Recycler. It looks like an art house garbage can. You can just toss your scraps in it like a garbage can, but it is definitely not a garbage can. I mean, it's true. I'm pretty obsessed with this thing. I even invested in this thing. But I'm not alone. Any mill owner just might corner you at a party and rhapsodize about how it's completely odorless and it's fully automated and how you can keep filling it for weeks. But the clincher is that you can depend on it for years. Mill is a serious machine. Think about a dishwasher, not a toaster. It's built by hand in North America, and it's engineered by the guy who did your iPhone. But you have to kind of live with Mill to understand all the love. That's why they offer a risk-free trial. Go to mill.com/wiser for an exclusive offer.
Okay. I know it's long, but please give it a chance. I desperately need your insight. All right, we'll give you a chance. Big Sisters Unite.
We are Big Sister.
I haven't listened to the show since way back in like 2017. I'm not sure. I just remember that Joe Coy and Angela Johnson were a couple of your guests.
Remember when we were like, we'll do guests.
Yeah.
This will be great.
It was fun, just hard.
Sure.
Anyway, since we're requesting validation now and asking less of a true question, I figured I'd submit mine. Long story long, there's a lot of important context. I, Coffee, female, 31, met my friend.
Thank you.
Let's call
Thank
her
you.
Espresso, female, 29, back in 2021.
Okay.
We bonded over the fact that we were both pregnant with our boys and due only weeks apart from each other. She was having her first and I was having my second. After that, our friendship really grew. We got to the point where we were texting and even calling each other on a daily basis. We talked about surface level things as well as deeply emotional and personal topics. We would both initiate calling and texting. It was a truly beautiful friendship. My kid saw her as an aunt, and 2 years later, she had her second son, and I considered both of her boys my nephews. We live about an hour away from each other, so we didn't see each other all the time, but we tried to take turns going back and forth to each other's houses every couple of weeks. It wasn't one of those friendships where we only got together so our kids could have a play date. We got together because we wanted to see each other, and the kids playing together was a bonus. Through this whole time, she's been with her fiance. We'll call him Americano. Americano, male, 34, owns a very successful business to the point that Espresso doesn't have to work and can stay home with the boys. I didn't get to see him that often because he worked so much, but when I did, he was always friendly. Occasionally, Espresso would tell me things like, Americano says we're starting a diet this week. And I'd ask her if that was something she wanted to do. And she'd say something along the lines of, well, he just knows more about that kind of stuff than me. So I just sort of go with it. Espresso has always been a healthy weight, but I knew she wanted to be more healthy and more fit with her wedding coming up at some point. A date hadn't been set yet. On a side note, Americano has messaged me several times throughout the years, letting me know how grateful he is for the fact that I am such a good friend to Espresso. And he's so happy she has a friend like me. Something about that is like weird to me.
Yeah. Yep.
Condescending.
My eyes went up.
Yeah.
If you're watching this on video, who knows where those even get posted?
I'd hear things similar to this regarding finances. Since Espresso doesn't work, Americano would give her an allowance each month. And Espresso said she'd always been bad with money and didn't know how to save or spend. And since he's so much better at that kind of stuff than I am, she would go with the plan he put in place. This meant she had a specific amount she could spend on herself, a healthy amount, and could spend what she needed on groceries or general things the family needed. He'd also say things like, hey, since you're home, I need you to do X today, or ask her to do tasks that had nothing to do with her, like changing all the hangers in the closet because he didn't like the way they dented his shirts. He would essentially tell her that she needed to do these things on top of all the other household chores she would manage, on top of taking care of her 2 toddlers. I would vocalize my opinion on this because I didn't agree that he should be making her do tasks that were only his problem just because she's a stay-at-home mom. She has enough stress with raising her boy. She doesn't need to do his mundane tasks as well. I do have a hard time keeping my opinions to myself, especially when it comes to men wearing the pants in a marriage. And I know she didn't agree with my opinion when I spoke up, but coming from a household where my husband and I are equals, I just didn't like the way he was going about it. I do work full-time as well, but I could still never imagine asking my partner to do extra stuff for me just because I needed to give them something else to do. I think that's an interesting piece.
You need to control her.
Yes.
Not give her something to do. Yeah. I'll be like, I'll buy your hangers, but you got to put all your clothes on.
Right. At the end of 2024, we really got going on the thoughts of their wedding and date. She made sure the date they chose worked for me before making it official. Within a couple weeks, she gave me a Will You Be My Bridesmaid basket, including a very sweet note about how much our friendship means to her. I obviously said yes. She chose her childhood best friend as her maid of honor.
Okay, you're one of two
One
friends.
of two. And I totally supported and understood that. Now for the juice. Back in January of this year, Espresso called me one night, very emotional. She said her maid of honor told her she had a lot going on with her family and other issues that made it too difficult to follow through with the maid of honor responsibilities. Now, our question asker claims this was valid and understandable due to the nature of what she was going through. So that this friend was going through something. So, Espresso asked me if I would do the honors and step in and become maid of honor. I said yes and dove into maid of honor mode, knowing that planning the bachelorette party and bridal shower would take time. I did reach out to her previous maid of honor, now just a bridesmaid, to ask if she already had any ideas for that event or anything Espresso had mentioned specifically. She gave me a couple ideas and informed me that Americano had a very generous amount of money to help cover the expenses. I spoke with Americano on the phone the next day and asked similar questions about her wishes for the events, and he offered me $4,000, which was incredibly helpful as myself and the other bridesmaids didn't have the ability to afford what we knew Espresso deserved.
Pocket half of that.
for your troubles. Myself and Americano's sister, also a bridesmaid, we'll call her Latte, female 32, got to work planning these events. We didn't say eye to eye on every detail, but eventually got it all worked out. The bachelorette party would be a 2-night stay at an Airbnb about 5 hours away.
No, I bet he says no.
And required a passport. We all fit in one car to drive there. Unfortunately, her original maid of honor didn't make the trip for unclear reasons.
Okay.
Something to do with renewing her passport. But overall, Espresso was sad and annoyed at her for this.
Okay.
But understood. We had an amazing time. I made sure we used money Americano had given us in responsible yet enjoyable ways. Got a good deal on the Airbnb, didn't go crazy on souvenirs, but truly enjoyed our meals and key activities. Shortly after we got back, it was time to
enjoyed our meals. So cute.
They enjoyed them.
Enjoy your meal.
Time to dive deep into the bridal shower. It was decided having it at their home, same location as the wedding, would be best for costs.
You have to edit these things, Emily.
They said, please read this whole long one. They said that.
Okay.
They said we
at least
need
it's
it all.
coffee themed.
I know.
Okay.
While still being able to have delicious food, proper invitations, decor, etc., it was beautiful, and my parents even came to help set up, clean up, and bartend for their guests. The only thing that happened that day was a situation with Latte, Americano's sister. She was helping set up before guests arrives and stressing hardcore about where food was going and that we didn't have proper mugs for coffee. I suggested we use the cups that came with the plates and cutlery we ordered, but her response was, well, I guess we'll just let everyone burn their hands then. Okay. I was shocked. I couldn't believe she said that to me, and I let her know that was completely inappropriate. She apologized to me and my parents later since she said it in front of them. Overall, the day went well. Espresso had a great time. Side note. We had $300 left over from the event. So between me and the sister-in-law, we decided that we would get them the 2 lounge chairs for their pool that were on their registry. I mailed them straight to her house as I did for all of the bridal shower decorations. I meant to put her mom's name on the order so she would think it was something for her and not open them, but I forgot.
I think a lounge chair is something you're going to know what it is.
My name was on the packages. Espresso told me I had packages delivered to her house, and I said, oops, I must have forgotten to change the address. This is important for later.
Okay.
The wedding is coming up in just a couple of weeks. Since I live over an hour away, it was hard for me to help with details, but each time I spoke to her, I'd ask if she needed anything, how it was going. Latte lived close by, so she was over to help with decorations and such.
That's the sister.
Yes.
Okay.
The next part might sound confusing, but I'll try to make it as clear as possible. I knew that the rehearsal dinner was the night before the wedding. So a couple weeks prior, I asked if I could sleep over at her house so I could be there early the next day to help with setting up for the wedding. She said, great. They have a spare room downstairs with an air mattress. The plan was that my husband and I would drive there for the rehearsal. He'd drive home. My mom was watching our kids, and he'd come back closer to the time of the ceremony the next day. The morning of the rehearsal, my husband told me he was not going to be out of work early enough to join me for the 5 o'clock rehearsal, so I texted Espresso. I asked her if it was okay to push the time of the rehearsal. It was just happening at their home, and we were
Wait, I'm
ordering-
sorry.
Yeah.
The morning you were supposed to drive there?
So that at the rehearsal after
You're
work,
already there.
No, they're not there yet. So before the rehearsal, they were going to drive, and she was going to stay overnight for the wedding the next day.
So like Friday, the wedding's Saturday.
Yeah.
So Friday you were going to drive in. Your husband was going to drop you.
Yes.
You were going to do the rehearsal, sleep over.
And then husband was going to
come
go
back
home.
for the wedding.
Yeah.
But what happened was
So husband's like, I'm not going to get out of work on time. So our
to drive you to the rehearsal.
Yes, or attend.
Okay.
So she texted Espresso that morning and asked if it was okay to push the time of the rehearsal. She says it was just happening at their home. We were ordering pizza for dinner, so no specific reservation or anything. I said, if not, that's totally fine. My husband just
That's your
wouldn't be
rehearsal
able to
dinner?
join me.
Okay.
She said she'd like for me to be there on time, and I said, okay.
So you drive yourself. It's an hour.
The next part is where it all goes wrong, and I'm still unclear why. Shortly after, she texted me saying if my husband wasn't joining me for the rehearsal, it's probably best that I don't sleep over. I didn't understand this and asked why. She said it was because that meant that now between my husband and myself, we'd have 2 cars there as opposed to 1.
At your house?
I guess at the wedding. Yeah, because the wedding's at her house. If he came with me to the rehearsal and then drove home, he'd be bringing only 1 car back for the wedding.
So park on another block.
I said, okay,
Cheers.
no worries. I can just have him park at the park and ride down the street and go pick him up when he arrives. She continued to say no, and then I still can't sleep over. I asked if I could call. I hate texting as it's difficult to understand tone and I needed clarification. She said she was too busy running around and didn't have time to talk. So I told her to just let me know why I couldn't sleep over. If I didn't live over an hour away, it wouldn't matter to me. But as the maid of honor, I wanted to be there early the next day to help.
Yeah.
She told me they didn't need help and everything was set, so no worries.
She doesn't want you fucking her husband.
I started getting frustrated. In hindsight, this is where I should have stopped. I said, if you don't want me to sleep over, that's fine. Just tell me why. She said something along the lines of the parking issue. I deleted the text, so I can't go back and see exactly what she said.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
I said, dude, after everything I've done for you, you can't just be honest with me. That was a mistake. She said, are you fucking kidding me? I can't believe you just said that to me. That's it. You're done. Do not show up to the rehearsal and do not show up to my wedding. I don't want you there. I don't want to see you. And don't worry, I'll ship you your fucking packages. I was in so much shock, I was shaking. I immediately tried to call her with no answer. She answered after several tries, and I started with, whoa, hold on, let me explain. And she said something along the lines of, stop yelling at me. I don't want to talk to you. Do not call me back, and hung up. I tried to call Americano because I needed him to know I was sorry for upsetting her, and I needed to clarify things with Espresso. When he answered the phone, all he said to me was, are you kidding me, Coffee? Espresso just ran into the room crying. Do not call me back. Fuck you. And hung up.
Jesus.
I have never been told fuck you by another person, let alone my friend's husband.
How out of bounds.
Now I'm hysterical, crying so hard I didn't know what I did. I obviously pissed her off with what I said, but to this extent, I was so confused and hurt. I was trying to get my kids ready for school. Thank God my husband was there to help them. Last option I had was calling Latte. She was just as shocked and confused as I was. Explained maybe Espresso's sudden reaction was due to stress about her backyard wedding.
Okay.
They undertook more than they could handle. She couldn't believe her brother said that to me and apologized on his behalf. She even said, I don't know why she was giving you so much grief about parking. They're having all their guests park in the school parking lot next door. I said, well, then what the fuck? What was the deal about my husband and I having 2 cars? She said she was going to their house shortly to help set up and would call me back later. Latte finally called me 2 hours later and said that Espresso was holding firm on her decision to not have me there. She didn't give her a good reason, but it seemed like she was also upset about a number of things. Latte told me Espresso said she talked to me after the wedding. I said, if she waits until after the wedding, our friendship is over.
No, that's a weird thing to say.
The last thing I did.
Why do you want to go anyway? Okay.
Right. Why I texted Espresso letting her know I was sorry for upsetting her and I truly wish she had the best wedding day. Don't worry about this shipping the packages. They're your wedding gift.
Oh.
This was back in July. I never heard from Espresso or anyone else after that. She blocked me from all social media, yet stayed friends with my husband and my mom. Her mom unfriended me as well as Latte about a month later. Her husband rarely goes on Facebook, so we're still friends. I noticed Espresso popped up as one of my recommended friends, so I realized she unblocked me for some reason, but that's it. I don't know what I did wrong. I know people say they have some sort of inkling in the back of their head, but I don't. I've exhausted all ideas. Nothing makes sense. The fact that we lost our friendship over something as stupid as travel plans is beyond me. Sometimes my husband and I daydream about what we would do or say if Espresso or Americano reached out to us, but the thought of it makes me sad and sick. 4 years
my
of friendship
God.
down the drain. I'm mad, confused, hurt, angry. I'm most of all sad. I don't have a lot of close friends, but she was 1 in a million, and I will never know what I did. And that part hurts me the most. Anyway, thanks for reading. I truly am curious about your insight to it all. I can't wait to see you live and meet you in November in Massachusetts. P.S. I bought a stupid bridesmaid's dress I can't return or do anything with. And my mom and mother-in-law keep telling me I need to send her a random Venmo request for the cost of it. I said, absolutely not. LOL.
Yeah, that's really funny. Oh,
What do we do with this?
I wonder if you go back, because now I'm thinking back about all the things that Espresso, that the husband, that she said about him. Like, I'm just not really good with that kind of stuff. She doesn't sound like a woman who really has her own mind. I'm kind of grasping at straws here, but all I have is the context that you've provided. And you provided that context because you thought that these were ancillary
Right.
details that were worth mentioning, that are sort of buttressing like a ghost argument
Yeah.
that you're creating. So what we know about this woman is that her husband decides everything.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with being a housewife and letting your husband take control if that is truly what brings you joy.
Yeah.
That's okay. As feminists,
She's
we
taking
need
care of
to
the
totally be
kids.
okay with
Yeah.
it. And you know what? Maybe you're not good. Like maybe he does want to do a diet. I wish we had more to that. I thought you were going to be like he was like controlling her, but he seems like the kind of guy that wants to have everything his way. And if she's okay with that, okay. I wonder if he said there's something about you, because for her to not want you there unless your husband is there makes me wonder if she picked up on something.
I wonder if this was the straw that broke the camel's back in terms of you guys are great friends. I wonder if you've been making little I think she feels, it sounds like she was really stressed that she was doing this wedding in her backyard on a budget. And you're like, oh, the rehearsal dinner is so chill. We can just push the time back for my husband, right? I wonder if that hit her wrong and just opened this floodgate.
I wonder if there's that. I also wonder if maybe you have not been, I'm just putting this, the perfect bridesmaid. We don't have any context for the way you handle stuff, how you are in a situation. Are you controlling? You may not have, it may have been too much for her. Texting her after all I've done for you.
And you used, I will say, this struck me. So her husband, Americano, gave you a budget for these events and you used the leftover funds to buy their wedding gift. That was his money.
Is that what they said?
They had $300 left over after the bridal shower and the bachelorette party. And she used it to buy the loungers and ship them to their house.
Now, granted, he doesn't know it. However, what Emily's picking up on is like, that's kind of shitty. And so we're wondering if other shitty things had seeped in and the husband maybe pointed it out. The husband who we don't like for no reason.
Yeah.
And it could have been conflicting. And then when you're like, I just want to come, here's what I feel like we were on your side and now I'm like turning to the friend side. Because anytime a caller, a guest,
one of our
listener writes in, we're automatically on your side.
Yes.
But here I am, I'm doing this wedding at my house. And my friend who maybe is a little self-important.
Who wants to stay at my house so her commute is easier.
I want to stay at your house. I want you to push something back because of my husband. I want to park my car in your space that maybe you wanted to reserve for another relative or just not have there. I understand something where like, it's not a big deal, but you're like, it's actually just too much.
Yeah.
And then you saying after all I'd done for you, she was just like, I'm done. Her reaction is ridiculous.
Yes.
Her statement was ridiculous.
Yes.
Her reaction is disproportionate to everything else as we understand it in this context. It is possible that you are not the friend to her that you believe yourself to be.
Or that her perception of your friendship is different.
Yeah. And as far as your bridesmaid's dress, probably wasn't more than $300. So I guess it's a net zero since you didn't pay for those chairs. How did I miss that, Emily? Jesus.
It just really struck me because I was trying to pick up, okay, what could they be met? I assumed that Americana was going to blow up about something. So I was like, what's he going to blow up about? What's he going to blow up about?
Yeah, but I don't think
I wonder if there were just differences in etiquette, differences in understanding. And she just is so stressed and over it.
And he seems pretty rigid.
Yeah.
Like he seems like he runs the house. He's got the thing. And it could have just been like, no, I don't want her parking there because then where am I going to put my ice sculptures of myself? I think it's worth looking back. It's going to be hard to reflect on this, but like, is it possible that the relationship was not what you thought it was?
Yeah. But now she owes you. I mean, she doesn't owe you anything. You're not going to get you're not going to get any closure out of this. You were owed closure. It's shitty that she just said, fuck you, don't come to my wedding. Never mind. That's insane. That's so insane. Weird. You're not in the wrong. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, but I don't think you're not going to get answers. And
it sounded like the perfect storm of stress.
Yeah.
You may be overstepping her. We've all blown up. I think if I screamed at my wedding, I think I did.
I don't remember you screaming. You might have had hushed tones.
I yelled at my mom.
Oh, well.
She was like not being cool.
Yeah.
So this might just kind of be something where like, she doesn't have the energy to be like, here are the 15 tiny paper cuts, and it sucks to be rejected like that.
Yeah.
But it might be worth a real introspective look, or you just let it go. And you guys were friends for a time that really served a purpose.
Yeah.
You were both pregnant. You had someone to talk to. But at least we had that insight. Hope we made you feel better, but I think we may have made you feel worse.
And we may have made you feel worse. And I don't know. Will you feel better?
We're not sorry.
Knowing if we're not sorry.
Big sister.
Would you feel better knowing that there was a reason? You know what I mean? And she didn't just flip out. Like, either way, you're not changing your mind right now. She's going to need to come to that on her own.
Yeah. Are you going to feel better if she's like, yeah, here are the 10 things that you did, and you didn't see eye to eye with my sister, and you were kind of, it was kind of contentious at the bachelorette party, and you planned these things that I didn't want. Like, and she couldn't say anything because you had done her a favor. The way the story started is definitely not where I saw it ending.
No,
so
but
this one might be on you, or it might just be slight, like you might be in the middle and it might just be slightly not in your favor.
Yeah.
And she had just had enough. And sometimes people have just had enough.
Top of the cob.
It's the top of the cob. You're doing it right every day. You just take a bite. Top of the cob.
Okay.
Starting with bottom.
Okay. My bottom of the cob was on my flight last night from O'Hare. This is quasi red eye. It's a 9:30 flight. The man, and this is the second flight in a row where this has happened. The man behind me, and they're always older. The first one was like ancient, and this guy was probably in his like late 50s. Open mouth snored.
Oh, no.
So loud I could hear it through my movie, through my noise canceling headphones. And you're just like, aren't you embarrassed? Like, has your partner ever told you this is horrible? You have to know that you're an awful sounding sleeper. You must have been around someone. And I think a flight attendant should be able to tap you to be like, you are disrupting other people that paid for their seats.
Yeah.
It was so loud,
it.
and there was never like, and then it like reset. I threw a napkin at him and it woke him up, and I just like turned around, and then he like went right back to bed.
Yeah.
Into his deep slumber.
Yeah.
So fuck you. I hope you weren't able to sleep when you got home because you used it all up on that flight.
My bottom of the cob is I heard cats screaming outside. And I thought it was one cat, and I thought it was an angry cat. So I went out to be like, is that cat okay? Rounded the corner of my home, and it was two cats having a secret meeting. An orange one and a tabby one. No, one was laying down and one was sitting up. They saw me and then took off. And the fact that I didn't get a photo to prove that they were having a secret meeting really upsets me because no one believes me. They're like, oh, they were fighting. I'm like, no, they were having a meeting. They were having a meeting. I walked in on it. It was a meeting.
Yeah. Yeah, we totally believe you.
No one believes me.
I believe you. Cats do weird things.
Thank you. Because it was an orange one and a tabby one. I'm like, you're not family. You're separate.
No, we heard you.
Okay.
Well, maybe it's like a turf thing.
They were having negotiations, I think.
Maybe that was their gossip. All right.
All right. Fan bottom. The gamification of everything enjoyable. I don't want my crossword to be a streak. I don't need my Spanish learning to give me coins. And I don't want to collect cross-stitch patterns to get a prize. Let me do my old man coffee hobbies in peace.
Well,
It's a
then you're
good
going to
one.
have to go analog and do them offline.
Yeah, write them down.
My top of the cob is almost, this happens more often than not. It rarely rains in LA, but it tends to rain when I'm leaving.
Oh, yeah.
And I got in last night at like 1 a.m. I slept into bed. And my beautiful husband, of course, wakes up early and he gets the kids and everything.
Yeah.
And I woke up to 2 gigantic little babies jumping on like coming up onto the bed.
Yeah.
And it was so delicious to wake up. And I like had washed I was like so clean when I woke up. I washed off my makeup, like wake up in your bed. It's raining outside.
Yeah.
The dog is right next to me. I got to kiss my kids goodbye. And then I thought, okay, I'll get up. But I fell back asleep
Yeah.
with Tianfu's back leg in my hand.
Yeah.
And just to wake up and it's raining and I had to go do a podcast today, like someone else's, and it got canceled. So I had nothing.
Yeah.
And I just worked so hard this week and I've just been going through so much spiritually and professionally and emotionally. And just to wake up and just be like, it's okay to enjoy this absolute silent stillness.
As someone
you
comes
took it.
running in.
What is that? You have an almond.
Just one?
There was chocolate in there. I ate the chocolate.
Oh, are you
British?
a little British baby? I was just talking about how like nice my morning was once you left. It's also such a bummer when you have a present to give your kids and somehow they get it before you are there to give it to them. Do you like this thing?
Yeah.
A fan gave us this like mango that turns into a bird.
That's fun.
And I know I'm becoming my mother. Here's the bird. Give me the bird. Turn it inside out. Because they gave it to me and I go, what is it? It looks Asian. Doesn't it look like I don't know, like an Asian bird gift?
Yeah.
Back into a mango.
Turn it back into a mango,
Turn
quick.
it back into a mango. You ruined it, Eliza.
That was my top. It was just so, I took the dog for a walk. I got to wear rain boots. I sat and had coffee with Noah. Like, I'm going to see my husband for maybe a collective like 5 hours this whole month. So it was just nice. It was just a nice, gray, rainy day. And you have what's on your boots, Sierra? Chickens.
Oh.
Bought them in Baton Rouge. Okay.
My top is I had to get blood taken for a physical. The nurse was so good that I didn't even,
So hot.
no, but I didn't even feel it. I was just like, I got through it. I didn't almost pass out. She was great. So enjoy my blood. Doctors.
Enjoy my blood.
Enjoy it.
That's what you call the episode, Enjoy My Blood.
The fan top. Top of the cup, after seeing Eliza with my BFF 7 times in 7 different cities, we finally splurged on meet and greet and got to meet our idol, and she loved our custom shirts.
Oh, the shirts in Chicago were incredible.
Yeah.
And the notes were beautiful. And I saw the ones that they had made these shirts that showed every city they'd seen me in. And
Yeah.
they used the logo of each tour. And I was like, wow, I toured a lot.
Yeah.
It was
that's-
great.
Yeah. That's
We're going to
them.
get all the gifts up from Milwaukee and Chicago. You guys were awesome.
Yeah.
The energy was electric. And so I loved it. And I will see you this week in Dallas. We got 2 shows and in Austin.
Yeah.
Okay, have a good one.